Once their names lit up marquees, their faces filled our screens, their talents made them unforgettable.
Mr. Bluebird's on my shoulder.
But time moved on, and so did we.
But wherever I am, whatever I'm doing,
These celebrities captured the world's attention, then vanished from it. And when they died, few noticed, fewer remembered.
Unfortunately, not many people are lucky enough to traverse through things like that and come out on the other side, you know. And a lot of people don't make it, they don't live through it.
Some faded from fame quietly, others were victims of tragedy, their stories buried under newer headlines. This is celebrities who died and were forgotten. He was once Hollywood's golden boy, but fame's light fades fast.
Sure, Mom, you don't think us old tradesmen worry about little bums, do you?
Boy.
Bobby Driscoll's career began at just 5 years old, his bright smile and effortless charm landing him roles in classics like Song of the South
On my shoulder, it is the truth, it's actual.
and So Dear to My Heart. By 12, he was an Academy Juvenile Award winner, one of the most celebrated child stars of his generation.
But I want to thank everybody that had to do with me getting this award. And I want to thank God for giving me such a wonderful mother and father. Thank you.
He became the voice and live-action reference for Disney's Peter Pan, bringing the boy who wouldn't grow up to life.
Where is that villain, Captain Hook? I'll slice him up and throw him to that crocodile.
For a while, it seemed Bobby's future was limitless, but Hollywood has little mercy for those who dare to grow up. As he entered his teens, severe acne and the ever-changing tides of the industry left him cast aside. Disney ended his contract, and film offers stopped coming. He struggled to find his footing, wrestling with addiction as his career faded. Legal troubles and time in correctional facilities followed. His marriage ended, friends grew distant, and even his attempts at an art career in New York couldn't save him from feeling adrift. By the mid-1960s, the boy who'd once embodied Disney magic was destitute, wandering the streets of New York City. On March 30th, 1968, Bobby's body was found in an abandoned East Village tenement. He was just 31. With no identification, only empty beer bottles and scattered religious pamphlets, he was buried in a pauper's grave on Hart Island, among the city's forgotten. It took nearly a year before his identity was confirmed through fingerprints, and by then, his family still hadn't learned his fate. The public wouldn't know what had happened until 1972, when interest in Driscoll was renewed with the re-release of Song of the South, and reporters unearthed the tragedy. By then, the world had moved on. Bobby Driscoll breathed life into Peter Pan for millions, but in the end, he died as so many forgotten stars do, alone, far from the lights. The man who gave the world My Girl spent his last days far from the spotlight he once commanded. Ruffin's story tracks the rise and fall of fame. As the electrifying lead voice of the Temptations in Motown's golden era, his rasping, aching tenor drove timeless hits like Ain't Too Proud to Beg, I Wish It Would Rain, and Beauty's Only Skin Deep, helping make the group legendary. But with the spotlight came tension. Ruffin pressed for star billing, even lobbying for the name David Ruffin and the Temptations. By 1968, friction ended his run. The group let him go.
Success can act as a very strong aphrodisiac, and when you are a group, you have to move and think as one unit. You cannot have five guys going, 5 different directions.
His solo career brought successes. My Whole World Ended, The Moment You Left Me, Walk Away from Love, but nothing matched the Motown magic. Cocaine addiction and legal woes drained his fortunes and strained his closest ties. By the time he entered the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame with his bandmates in 1989, Ruffin was nearly broke, cycling through comebacks and relapses.
And when I heard the Temptations sing, it reminded me of the spiritual background that I came from.
On June 1, 1991, Ruffin collapsed in a West Philadelphia crack house, worlds away from the adoration he once owned. He spent his final hours smoking crack with friends, then was rushed to the hospital by one of them. He died at 50 and was initially unidentified, his name confirmed only later by fingerprints. Persistent rumors about an unclaimed body or missing money belt still swirl, but his family refutes these tales. Unable to afford a funeral, Ruffin's family received quiet assistance from Michael Jackson. Legends like Stevie Wonder and Aretha Franklin paid their respects. Yet his lonely, troubled end stands as a somber truth. Even the greatest voices can be consumed by the industry that created them. The Los Angeles apartment was quiet. The flicker of a television painting shadows on the walls. Empty bottles and the weight of old troubles filled the space. Brad Renfro lay on the bed, just 25. A decade earlier, he'd been Hollywood's newest sensation. Picked at age 10 by director Joel Schumacher from a nationwide search, Renfro brought a raw spark to his film debut in The Client, holding his own against Susan Sarandon and Tommy Lee Jones. Powerful roles soon followed. Sleepers, Apt Pupil, Ghost World, Bully, and everywhere he went, directors praised the gritty realism he brought to the screen.
You do need a lawyer.
How many cases have you won?
More than I lost.
How much do you cost?
There was no denying his talent, charisma, or gift for inhabiting Broken Boys. But off-screen, Renfro lacked the structure other young stars found in family or studio chaperones. Raised by his grandmother in Tennessee after his parents' divorce, Brad was on his own early and often. By his teens, he was cycling through arrests, grand theft, drug possession, underage drinking, a yacht stolen in Florida. He self-medicated as the offers from major studios faded, and he relied on independent films to keep acting.
Cleaning? Wow, looks pretty good.
Yeah, you'll do about 100.
On January 15, 2008, Brad was found dead in his mid-city Los Angeles apartment by his girlfriend. The coroner determined the cause was acute heroin and morphine intoxication, an accidental overdose. He'd been on probation, trying at times for sobriety, but addiction circled back. Though his death was widely reported, the coverage faded quickly. That year's Oscars omitted Renfro from the In Memoriam tribute, triggering anger and disbelief from fans and friends. For many, the oversight reflected how quickly Hollywood forgot one of its most gifted young actors. Brad Renfro's life was all extremes: meteoric rise, quiet isolation, and a legacy as both cautionary tale and lost promise.
Unfortunately, not many people are lucky enough to traverse through things like that and come out on the other side, you know. And a lot of people don't make it, they don't live through it.
Once a rising star by the time of his death, the industry that embraced him as a boy had moved on, leaving only stories of what could have been. She once stopped traffic with a glance. By the end, she could walk into a diner unnoticed.
Get out of my way, you cheap crook.
Veronica Lake, Hollywood's original ice queen, the woman whose peekaboo hair defined the 1940s, died alone in a Vermont hospital on July 7th. 1973 was just 50. Years of heavy drinking caught up with her, ending in acute hepatitis and kidney failure. Born Constance Ockelman in Brooklyn, Lake carried tragedy from an early age. Her father died when she was young. Her mother proved difficult. Escaping into acting, she became a star while still a teenager. Sullivan's Travels, This Gun for Hire, I Married a Witch. Her signature hairstyle, draped over one eye, became so iconic that the US government pleaded with her to change it. Too many women imitated Lake's look and got their hair caught in factory machines.
I won't tell you. I won't be sent home on the right off. You stop.
But Hollywood's devotion was fleeting. By her mid-20s, Lake's career collapsed under the weight of her alcoholism, clashes with studios, and her reputation as difficult. Paramount quietly dropped her. Divorces and estrangement from her children followed. Headlines faded. She found herself working in bars, sometimes under assumed names, struggling to pay bills. The 1960s brought attempts at a comeback, stage work in England, a memoir, a low-budget horror film, but the world had moved on. When Lake fell gravely ill in Vermont, there was scarcely a ripple. Her ashes sat in a funeral home until friends could pay the fee. Years later, portions of her remains reportedly turned up in an antique shop, a strange coda for a one-time icon. Veronica Lake had been among the world's most photographed women, her image a symbol of wartime glamour. But when she slipped away, Hollywood barely noticed, just as it so often does with those it once adored. On a September evening in 1932, hikers in the Hollywood Hills stumbled upon a purse, a single shoe, and a note. "I am afraid, I am a coward. I am sorry for everything. If I had done this a long time ago, it would have saved a lot of pain." P.E. hours later, Peg Entwistle was found at the base of the H in the Hollywoodland sign. She was just 24. Born in Wales and raised in America, Peg was a gifted stage actress, sharing the Broadway spotlight with legends like Humphrey Bogart and Ethel Barrymore. Her conviction and talent even inspired a young Bette Davis to pursue acting. But Hollywood, so often cruel to its dreamers, proved unkind. Her studio contract gained her a single film, 13 Women, and little more. Amid the hardships of the Depression, jobs vanished, and her ambitions stalled.
Well, if I needed anything more than common sense to disprove your argument, that would be enough.
On that lonely September night, Peg slipped away from her uncle's Los Angeles home, hiked up Mount Lee, scaled a workman's ladder to the top of the H, and jumped. Her death made headlines but quickly faded, her artistry eclipsed by tragedy. She became the Hollywood sign girl, a cautionary symbol for the cost of broken dreams. Decades later, her name still lingers in Hollywood legend, a stark reminder that behind the lights and ambition are quiet, often unseen struggles. Peg Entwistle's life may have dimmed, but her story endures, etched forever into the city's mythology. A career can't put its arms around you. You end up like Grand Central Station with people just coming and going, and there you are, left alone. Inger Stevens spoke those words at her peak, a warning that would echo with haunting accuracy just years later. She lit up Broadway and Hollywood in the 1950s, her arresting beauty and quiet intensity impossible to ignore. By the mid-1960s, she was television royalty, winning a Golden Globe and earning Emmy nods for The Farmer's Daughter. On film, she lent depth and grace to dramas and went toe-to-toe with Clint Eastwood in Hang 'em High. Stardom seemed inevitable.
Please. I'm sorry.
But Hollywood's memory is short. As Stevens entered her 30s, starring roles dwindled and headlines faded. Behind the radiant smile, she battled depression, the wreckage of failed relationships, and the suffocating weight of a marriage she dared not reveal. Her secret union with black producer Ike Jones, hidden for fear of career-ending backlash in an industry hostile to their love. The loneliness she warned of in interviews gradually became her reality. On April 30th, 1970, Stevens's housekeeper found her lifeless on the kitchen floor. She was 35. The coroner called it suicide by barbiturate overdose, though whispers of foul play continue to swirl. Her funeral was hushed and sparsely attended. Hollywood barely paused. There were no public tributes, no collective mourning. Once, millions adored her, but Inger Stevens died as so many do in Hollywood's shadow. Alone, her brilliance diminished to a footnote, her story slipping quietly into the dark. The posters on a million teenage bedroom walls. The boy next door who seemed forever young. In the 1990s, Jonathan Brandis was everywhere.
Help me.
Jonathan Brandis's rise was meteoric. Born in Danbury, Connecticut in 1976, he began modeling at age 2 and acting in commercials by 4. He landed his first soap opera role at just 6. By his teens, Brandis had won lead parts, facing terrifying evil in Stephen King's It, entering fantasy realms in The Never-Ending Story 2, sparring beside Chuck Norris in Sidekicks.
That's all right, Chuck. That's what sidekicks are for.
But it was as Lucas Wallenchak, the prodigy on Sequest DSV, that he became an icon. Thousands of fan letters arrived weekly, and his face graced magazines and bedroom walls across the country. Fame followed him everywhere, until it didn't. As adulthood approached, roles dried up. He pinned his hopes on a comeback with a dramatic role in Heart's War, but most of his scenes were cut, leaving him crestfallen and adrift. Privately, Brandis grappled with depression and heavy drinking, confiding in friends that he felt like a failure. Those close to him saw his struggles, but few imagined a tragic end. On November 11, 2003, a friend found Brandis hanging in the hallway of his Los Angeles apartment. He died the next afternoon at Cedars-Sinai Hospital. He was 27. No note was left, only the silence of a young star overwhelmed by pain few had seen. The boy millions had once adored vanished almost without notice. Once a symbol of youthful possibility, Jonathan Brandis spent his final years in deep loneliness, overshadowed by an industry and a world that had moved on. Fame is temporary, but every life leaves a mark even when the world forgets. Which of these names did you recognize? Or was there someone whose passing caught you completely by surprise? May each of them rest in peace, gone from the spotlight, but never truly gone, for as long as we remember them. If you'd like to see more stories that honor the lives of those the world overlooked, please like, share your thoughts below, and subscribe. Stay curious and compassionate, and we will see you in the next video.